Alright, for this tutorial we are going to be using Buildozer to compile your Kivy application into an Android app. Buildozer only runs on Linux, and actually I believe it runs on Mac too, but I have not tried that or gotten it working yet. So today I'm going to show you how to do this with a virtual machine from your Windows host to create an Ubuntu machine and then run Buildozer on that. Okay, so to get started, you are going to need number one, an Android phone. Number two, a charger to connect your phone to your Windows computer. And then we need to download VirtualBox, which lets us create the Linux virtual machine. So if you don't have that yet, you can go over to VirtualBox and install this. It's totally free. You just click this, download it, no problem, okay? Let's see. Windows hosts, this is the one you would click because I'm on Windows. And then when this opens up, you would just install everything. Okay, now let's assume you've got VirtualBox up. So you can just type VirtualBox from the search bar. And boom, you can see here, you've got your virtual machines. You won't have anything if you just installed VirtualBox. I have a couple saved. For now, we won't be using any of these because what we need to do at this point is download our Ubuntu image. So I can go over to ubuntu.com/download/desktop, and this is what we want, Ubuntu 18.04, that's no problem. Go ahead and hit download, and you should get a download automatically starting. Here it is. Okay, it's a couple of gigabytes, and I've already downloaded it before, so I'm just going to cancel this. Actually, I'll show you in the folder. You can see that here I have one from last week. Okay, so I'm going to stop this download. And great, so you've a couple of minutes have passed by. You now have this Ubuntu 18.04 desktop amd64.iso file. All right, so we're going to use this file to create our Ubuntu desktop in VirtualBox. To do this, you're going to go ahead and click New right here, and give your new virtual machine a name. I'll say like Android tutorial. I'll do take 2 because I was doing this last week. Linux is correct. Oracle 64-bit, sure. I'm going to increase the size here to 2048. There you go. Just give it a little bit more memory. Hard disk, create a virtual hard disk now is okay. It says the recommended hard disk size is 12 gigabytes. Go ahead and click next here with the default. Sure, default. Alright, I'm going to give this 20 gigabytes just because I don't want to run into any problems later on. So 20 gigabytes, go ahead. Hopefully you got space to allocate that on your desktop machine. And there you go. Now you've got your new Linux machine. It hasn't been turned on yet, so let's just double click it, which will start it. And we need to select the startup disk. Okay, to do this, we need to go and click our .iso file that we just installed. And go ahead and select it, click open. Now you should see it here. That means that we're actually going to run this image of Ubuntu on this machine. Go ahead and click start. And it's going to take a little bit to load up. When you click the mouse, it's fine, just hit capture. Okay, now we've got our sort of install screen here on our virtual machine. You want to go ahead and hit install Ubuntu, not try Ubuntu. So click install Ubuntu, then we have to go through a little bit of setup. I'm using the English keyboard. Normal installation is good, just all the defaults here. Yes, you can erase the disk and install Ubuntu. This isn't erasing like your host disk, it's just erasing whatever's already on the VirtualBox machine, which is nothing right now, so you're not really erasing anything. Okay, install now. Yeah, go ahead, write the changes to the disk. Okay, give it a time zone. I'm in the Chicago time zone. My name is Eric. My computer's name, Eric VirtualBox. Sure. Username, Eric. Password, I'm just going to put 1. Confirm the password 1. Yeah, okay. That's fine. While this is all installing, I'm going to cut to a video of my Android phone and show you a couple settings that you guys need to change on your phone. So the first thing you want to do is open your phone settings and then go to the About Phone tab down towards the bottom. And now click on the Software Info tab. And you're going to want to click the Build Number tab 7 times really quickly, and that'll turn you into a developer on your phone. Now go back and press back again, and you should see a new tab on your phone that says Developer Options right above About Phone. So click on that, and in here you want to make sure that your phone has Stay Awake enabled, and then also scroll down a bit and you'll see USB Debugging. Make sure that's enabled and you're finished. Okay, so it's been a couple minutes and the installation is complete. You need to restart now, which will restart your virtual machine, not your actual host desktop. And now it says you need to hit enter. So press enter on your keyboard and we will get back into our virtual machine. Okay, so click on your account here and type in your password. If you're following along with me, remember the password is just 1. And we'll sign in. Okay, we are now in our Linux machine. This is great. We need to install a couple things through the command line. So I'll click on applications down here and I will search for terminal. And we'll open this up. Okay, get rid of some of this junk in the background. Here, now we're in the terminal. Okay, first thing I want to do is install Git because I need Git to install Buildozer. So I'll use sudo apt install git, put in your password, hit yes. Okay, Git's installed. Now we want to git clone https://github.com/kivy/buildozer.git. Hit return or enter. Boom, we've got Buildozer now. Next thing, let's make sure we have Python 3 installed. So I'll say sudo apt-get install Python 3.6. Hit enter. Okay, let's make sure we have setup tools. So sudo apt-get install Python 3-setup tools. Go ahead and hit yes again, or Y for yes. And we're installing all of our setup tools. Great, we're done. Okay, so I've cleared my screen, and now I want to cd into Buildozer, which is a folder that was just cloned. And I'm going to run sudo python 3 setup.py install, because there's a file called setup.py in the Buildozer folder. Go ahead and hit OK. And it's installing all the stuff that you need for Buildozer. Okay, great. Now I'm going to go back and clear my screen again. Next thing I want to do is I need some actual code, so the actual app that I want to run on my Android machine. I've got a Git project that you guys can clone. It's just like a Hello World app pretty much. So to install that, let's go ahead and say git clone https://github.com/dirk-sandberg, that's me, /Kivy hello world.git. You can see I just pulled it up in the background, so I have a GitHub repository called Kivy hello world, and we're going to clone that. Okay, all it has is just this main.py file, and now if I type ls, you can see that I've got my Kivy hello world folder. Okay, so I'm going to go over to Kivy hello world, and I'll show you what's in here. It's just the main.py file. Now, to make this actually a Buildozer project, I need to type buildozer init. And okay, it says we've created a buildozer.spec file. Let's go ahead and look at this Buildozer spec file. I'm going to navigate to it in the files system. So, okay, double click this to open it with a text editor. Here you go. This is how you configure basically all of the sort of metadata for your Buildozer application. The name of your application, you can change it. I'll say like hello world. Package.name, package.domain. I'm not going to really cover what those are, but you'd probably put like your name here, or .sandberg, package.name like hello world. Okay, source dir where the source code lives for the main.py. That's hopefully at the top level right with your buildozer.spec file, so leave that alone. This is a really important one, which might throw some people off. If you have any files that end in anything other than .py, .png, .jpeg, .kv, or .atlas, it's not going to be included in the Buildozer application by default. So say you've got like a text file .txt that your app relies on, you need to actually edit this line and say comma txt to make sure that your text application gets packaged with your Android app. Okay, so if you have text files or like font files, which is like a TTF or TFF, I can't remember, you need to make sure that any file extensions that are relied upon in your code, you have to include in this source include extensions. Okay. And now one other really helpful thing that I'm going to show you is, let's see if we scroll down. Oh yeah, this one is definitely important, the requirements. Any modules that your app depends on, like normal Python modules, for example, requests or SQLite 3, something like that, you need to include in this requirements here. Okay, so if I was using requests, I'd say like requests. If I was using something called like ELO, if you've got a game, there's an ELO package, you would say I need ELO. Okay, and that'll make sure that your app is compiled with all those. And I'll have some more in-depth tutorials on Android applications, probably like the next video that I put out. But yeah, so that's just basically explaining this requirements line. And then the last thing, which is really helpful, if you scroll all the way down here, down to line 216, this Android logcat filters, this is really helpful for debugging your application. So I'm going to uncomment that and make sure that this line says Android.logcat filters equals all this junk for Python. Basically what this means is when you run your app, you'll get a bunch of output in the command line that shows you all of tons of information about what's going on with your app. And usually you only care about the Python stuff, because if you're trying to compile a complicated app, chances are it's going to break a bunch of times because like you don't have your imports correct in your Buildozer application. And this line basically says remove all the other junk from logcat, which is basically the service that sends all the information from the phone to the terminal. So filter out everything except for Python commands, which, you know, at least for beginning, this is pretty much what you're going to want. Okay, so there you go. I will go ahead and save this with Control S, and I've saved my buildozer.spec file. Now let me go back to my terminal. And actually, there's a couple things I want to update first, a couple packages. So let me go ahead and say sudo apt update. And now it's going to be a pretty long line, but we need to update a bunch of dependencies. So we're going to need to say sudo apt install -y git zip. And I'm going to read off my list here. Let's see, open jdk-8-jdk, python 3-pip, autoconf, libtool, pkg-config, zlib1g-dev, lib and curses 5-dev, dev, yep, lib and curses w5-dev, lib tinfo5, cmake, lib ffi-dev. Okay, let's run this. Oops, I already had a typo. If you have a typo, it's going to say unable to locate package. There you go, pkg, and it's installing stuff. Good. Okay, everything is installed. I need to also install Python and virtualenv. So I'll say pip3 install --user, and you can remove this --user if you're working in a virtual environment already. -- upgrade Python and virtualenv. Hit enter, and it should get all this stuff for us. Then I also have a line to sudo apt get install Python. Hit yes. Okay, we've installed everything that we need for our basic app. It's taken a little bit, but now we only have one line left to do, which is deploy our app or our code right now on our virtual machine onto the phone. So at this point, make sure that your phone is plugged into your computer. Now we need to make sure that we're in the same folder as our buildozer.spec and main.py file, and we will run the buildozer android debug deploy run command. And this is going to take quite a long time because it's your initial setup for this project, for this Buildozer project, so it's going to take a while. Give it plenty of time, and at the end it should either give you an error telling you that something went wrong, or it should show up on your phone. So we'll check back and see what's happened in just a minute. Now, halfway through this, you're going to get a little message that you want to accept this license agreement. Make sure you do this. If you don't, you're going to be stuck at that point for forever. So make sure you keep an eye on this. And when you get to that point, hit yes. And you actually have a second license agreement, so make sure you hit accept for this one too. At some points, your virtual machine might go dark and you need to wake it back up. Okay, it took like, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes or half an hour, and it finished. Although here's a little message down here. It says list of devices attached, and there's nothing here. So that's not great. That means that my virtual machine does not see my phone that's supposed to be plugged into my computer right now. So then it says application pushed and application started. Well, it wasn't pushed anywhere, so it's not going to show up on my phone. So to fix this, I'm going to go ahead down here to this little icon. You see no USB devices attached. I'm going to right click this, and let's see, USB settings, and now I'm going to click this button to add a filter, and this is my phone right here. So you should have a couple different options depending on what's plugged into your computer. So click on your phone, click OK, and then right click and select this guy, and we should see that, okay, great, now we have our phone selected down here and we should be communicating with it. So now let me rerun the command to deploy it, and it should not take nearly as long this time because it's already in most of the setup. So I'll just give it a second. Okay, looks like I got another error. This is why I made this video, so we can debug a couple of these common ones for you guys. It's a bunch of red junk up here. If I scroll all the way up though, you'll see, oh, here's my devices attached. This is my phone, and it says unauthorized. So to fix this, you'll notice that when you plug your phone in, if you didn't already fix this, you'll have a little message that says allow USB debugging on your phone. So let me just show you guys this. I will replug my phone into my computer, and I'm recording the video on my phone. Okay, so you can see that I need to always allow USB debugging from this computer. I'll hit OK, and now this error should be fixed. I've now authorized USB debugging, so my device will be authorized. Okay, let's scroll down and run this one more time. Now you can see that I don't have an error this time after running the terminal command, and my Hello World app has popped up onto my phone. So there you have it. We have successfully deployed a basic Android application with Kivy, and I've covered some of the basics of debugging and that buildozer.spec file. That's going to be really important for packaging your more complicated application. And in the next video that I'm going to post, we'll be doing just that. I'll be working with like GPS and Android, and it's a little bit more complicated app. So go ahead and check that video out if you haven't already. So thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.